With the housing market finally starting to cool off and homes sitting for longer and longer on the market here in Sarasota, the housing opportunity for a lot of people is now becoming a reality. So in this video, I want to show you 5 actually affordable areas to look into if you're thinking about moving in the Sarasota area. Stay tuned till the very end because I saved the best 2 for last. All right, now that's enough talking. Let's hop in the car and check out some actually affordable areas of Sarasota. So to give a little bit of context, how did I even dictate what is affordable? Well, the median home price for sale right now, as recording this video, is $537,000. So I'm saying anything under $537,000 would be considered affordable. But don't freak out because all of these areas are going to have homes under that budget, way under that budget. So let's get into the first one now. All right, so the first neighborhood that we're going to be heading to here in Sarasota that has actual affordable living is going to be Lake Sarasota. Now, Lake Sarasota is just east of I-75 and right below Bee Ridge Road. Now, homes in Lake Sarasota were built between the late 70s to early 80s, and you'll see a lot of them have been renovated with either newer roofs or updated interiors. So you could still really score a good deal on one of these updated homes for a relatively good price because they're still built in the later years. Now, Lake Sarasota holds a near and dear spot to my heart. My childhood best friend grew up in Lake Sarasota, which essentially meant I was there every other weekend, playing games like Manhunt or playing in the backyards or just running around the neighborhood. It was always a great time spending my weekends in Lake Sarasota. This neighborhood really is super attractive for families and first-time home buyers just because, one, yes, it is very affordable, but it also has kind of larger yards and bigger homes. So you'll see yards that are a quarter acre or even half an acre if you're finding a corner lot, which is really nice for a family who wants to expand outside of the house, have the kids playing, running around with the dog. It's a really great neighborhood. Lake Sarasota is also in a great location just off of Bee Ridge Road and east of I-75. It's in a quiet area, but it's also located in one of the top ranked school districts in all of Sarasota, being districted for Lakeview, which is where I went to elementary school, and it was amazing. It's one of the top ranked elementary schools in all of Sarasota. But it's also districted for Sarasota Middle School as well as Sarasota High School, which are 2 also top ranked schools in Sarasota County. So again, for families, very, very attractive. But even if you don't have school-aged kids, Lake Sarasota is still gonna maintain its value for families who want to buy. So if you're buying into that neighborhood and you don't have school-aged kids, your property values will still maintain because of the sheer desirability of that neighborhood being one of the very few neighborhoods in this area where you can score a home for under $500,000 and still be in one of the top ranked school districts in all of Sarasota. Another thing that's really attractive about Lake Sarasota is it doesn't have an HOA fee or an HOA even. So you're not getting bogged down by an HOA telling you how to maintain your property or constantly charging monthly or annual fees for whatever it is that they provide. Lake Sarasota doesn't have any of that. So if you want to park a boat or an RV in your front yard, if you don't want to, trim the hedges or do whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, which a lot of people see value in. So there are currently 9 homes listed in Lake Sarasota under that median price of $537,000. The cheapest one that you can find is actually this one. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, just under 1,000 square foot home with a new kitchen, new roof, and updated interior. And the other 8 homes listed in Lake Sarasota range from $388,000 all the way up to $519,000. So if you're looking for a really affordable home on a larger lot in a great family location with amazing schools, close to shopping and dining, very centrally located in Sarasota, then Lake Sarasota might be an option for you. All right, now this next area up is actually going to be the closest that you can get to the Gulf beaches of Siesta Key while still staying under our parameter of $537,000. And that area is Gulfgate. Gulfgate currently has 23 homes available under our parameters of $537,000, ranging from 2-bed, 1-bath, 900 square foot homes for $319,000, all the way up to 3-bed, 2-bath, over 1,500 square feet of living space for, $520,000. In Gulfgate, majority of the homes though are listed between the $420,000 to the $520,000 mark. So what makes Gulfgate so affordable? Well, first off, it's one of the most original neighborhoods in Sarasota, with homes being built from the late 60s or even the late 50s all the way up to the 80s. Now, what this means for you as a buyer is that a lot of these homes are gonna need a little bit of love. You know, they might need a new roof or updated interiors. Because these homes are so much older than a majority of Sarasota, the interiors are, dated like a 1970s house would look. A lot of wallpaper, floral decorations, old floral couches. I can't even tell you how many Gulf Gate homes I've been into that look like true 1980s time capsules. Another reason why Gulf Gate is relatively affordable compared to other areas of Sarasota is because a lot of those homes that were built in the 60s and the 70s are much smaller and come on much smaller lots. It's not unusual to see homes, as small as a 2-bed, 1-bath, 1,000 square foot place, with a 1-car garage or not a no garage and maybe even a little carport. It's really common to see the washer and dryer outside of the house in the garage or in the carport because there really isn't any room inside of the home. As a matter of fact, out of the 23 homes that are listed under the $537,000 mark, 14 of them have less than 1,500 square feet of living space. And that reason alone turns away a lot of prospective buyers, especially families, people who are looking at that under $500,000 range. They might be cross shopping Lake Sarasota, which we just talked about, with Gulf Gate. They might be attracted to the idea that Gulf Gate is so much closer to the beach. But if you can't get a 3-bedroom home and you've got 2 or 3 kids, it really just doesn't make much sense to be, moving to a sub 1,500 square foot home with a really small lot. They just take the hit and move into Lake Sarasota. So with that being said, I've found that Gulf Gate really attracts 2 main types of people. The first one is retirees, a couple who doesn't really mind that the home is older. It might be decorated older, but that doesn't affect them because they're not used to these modern finishes and designs anyways. They grew up in the 70s or the 60s or what have you, and they don't mind that the home is older, or maybe even they don't mind that it needs to be updated a little bit. This retired couple, all that they want is to be close to the beach. Number one priority is the proximity to the beach. They're gonna be retiring here and they just want to spend the rest of their time on the beach, which makes sense. That's a fair value trade-off. Now, the second type of person that Gulf Gate attracts is a first-time home buyer. Maybe it's a younger couple who doesn't have kids, or it's even an older couple who, has been renting for a long time and now, they're looking for their first-time home. This area is, again, really attractive. Gulf Gate's got its own kind of main street where there's activities and things that you can do, shops and bars and restaurants that you can explore. Again, you've got that close proximity to the beach. But again, this younger couple or this, single couple or single person even, they don't need that space. They don't need that huge yard. This is a starter home that they can eventually move away from or, keep and rent out. Speaking of keep and renting out, this is what a lot of people in Gulf Gate are doing. Again, like I mentioned, because these homes were built in the 60s, the 70s, there's a lot of room for improvement, if you know what I mean. And so a lot of investors or even, couples who are buying up these homes, live in them for a few years, they keep them and then they just rent them out. Gulf Gate is so close to the beach. It's the closest place to the beach that's not on the key that you can live in. And so a lot of people put them up on Airbnb or VRBO and rent them out for a couple $100 a night. Just like Lake Sarasota, Gulf Gate doesn't have an HOA either, and what it does have is very, very lenient and it's very cheap. I think they have a voluntary HOA that you can buy into for $75 a year, and it really doesn't have any restrictions on rental policies. So, you can rent it out for as little as a week at a time, for as long as, a year at a time. And because of that reason, the Gulf Gate area is a very investor-heavy market. So if you're somebody who doesn't want to live full-time near a rental property, which I hear a lot of trepidation from clients, they'll come and ask me, are people throwing parties and, staying up late and drinking and doing all these things? It's an Airbnb, there's constantly people coming and going. Now, I haven't really heard any negative experiences. I have a few clients who live in Gulf Gate now, and they really enjoy it. They say it's quiet. There's really not any issues with Airbnb people because, it's, again, a lot of families who are just kind of trying to vacation on Siesta Key, or older retired couples who are doing the same thing. They just want to go to and from the beach, and it's a really slow and relaxing area to be. Okay, so after Lake Sarasota and Gulf Gate, you really can't talk about affordable living in Sarasota without mentioning Central Sarasota. Now, this area would be north of Proctor Road, south of Bay Vista Road, west of I-75, and east of Tamiami Trail or US 41. Most of Central Sarasota is made up of singular streets with really no neighborhood feel to them. All of the middle of Sarasota is just posh, offset streets with houses on them. You know, one street might be maintained really well and look really clean and pretty. The next street, you know, with lack of a better word, might be an absolute dump. You know, cars parked not only in the driveway, but all over the yard and the grass, trees that are growing all the way over, you know, houses and stuff. Now, Central Sarasota is going to be the largest part of town or area or neighborhood that's going to have homes inside of Sarasota for under the $537,000 mark. That being said, there's 79 of them for sale under the $537,000 mark. You know, they range from small 1,000 square foot fixer-upper homes for $269,000 to fully renovated 3-bed, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot estate homes listed at the top of our range at $535,000. You know, like Gulf Gate, a majority of the homes in this area are going to be smaller. 43 of the 79 homes listed in Central Sarasota actually are less than 1,400 square feet of living space. So a lot more than half. And most of them were built anywhere between the early 60s throughout the 80s. On the bright side though, a lot of these homes, like Gulf Gate, have seen many renovations, you know, since they were built. So you can still pick up a smaller, you know, home that's been renovated with a new roof for a relatively affordable price. At this point though, you're probably seeing a common trend in the homes in the neighborhoods that I've been showing you, right? You know, what is it? Well, all of these homes were built from the 50s to the 80s. What if I told you that there were new construction areas of Sarasota that you could get into under $500,000, where the builders were offering up to $20,000 in flex cash that you could use to buy down the rate or put towards closing costs? Let's check out some of those now. So there's actually going to be 2 Lakewood Ranch communities that are going to offer new construction homes at or under $500,000. The first is Star Farms. Now this neighborhood, when completed, is going to have 1,500 homes across 700 acres of land. Star Farms is going to offer 8 models that will be under that $500,000 mark. Those models are the Cali, the Aria, the Clifton, Laurel, Darwin, Alex, Robbie, and Elston. Now, if you're interested in touring any of those models that I just listed below, I'm going to be doing a walkthrough video of all of the models that Star Farms has available for me to tour, and I'll link them in a playlist right up here. Another neighborhood where you can get new construction homes under $500,000 inside of Lakewood Ranch is going to be Solera at Lakewood Ranch. Now, this neighborhood is literally right across the street from Star Farms. It offers 3 floor plans under the $500,000 mark, and those floor plans are the Hayden, the Cali, which we also saw at Star Farms, as well as the Lantina. You see, all 3 of these floor plans are gonna be really similar to the ones that we saw at Star Farms. The only difference is Star Farms is way bigger, and they're gonna offer more floor plans from these builders than Solera will. Just a little caveat, beware, these homes are really northeast in Lakewood Ranch and are actually in Bradenton and Manatee County. They're not even considered in Sarasota County. For perspective, Star Farms is about 21 miles to downtown Sarasota, and at around 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday, that's going to be at least a 50-minute drive. Your closest beach at Star Farms or Solera is going to be Lido Key Beach, and that's going to be 23 miles. And again, on a Tuesday at 5, that is an hour drive away. Funny enough, however, Siesta Key Beach is exactly the same time drive down the highway, even though it's an extra 4 miles. But if you're not familiar with Lakewood Ranch, you should know it's a very active community, outfitted with its own bars, restaurants, shopping, and town-like feel. For most, they don't feel the need to go all the way into Sarasota because there's nothing there for them that they couldn't have right inside of Lakewood Ranch, except the beach, that is. So I would say if you really, really want to be closer than an hour drive to the beach, well then Lakewood Ranch just isn't going to be the spot for you. But if you want a town-like community feel where there's lots of things to do and activities that are put on for you that are really in close proximity, then you should check out Lakewood Ranch. It's a really cool area. Okay, so this final area could probably take a video all by itself. It's actually the 2nd fastest growing US city in 2023, according to a recent study done by Quicken Loans. And it's about 40 miles or 50 minutes southeast of Sarasota, Florida. It's known for its affordability and quiet, slow-paced residential community. That area is Northport. In Northport, there are new construction and recently constructed homes to be had in the $200,000 to $300,000 range. As a matter of fact, there are 452 active listings built 2023 and newer that are under the $530,000 mark. 452. Now, I found this new construction builder listing a $275,000 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 900 square foot house. As much as I hate to admit it, these are great values. I mean, this is pre-COVID pricing for a new built home. You can literally find hundreds of newer built homes in Northport for right around $300,000, or between the $300,000 to $400,000 range. Plus, with the major expansion of Welland Park, which is Venice's new hub for dining, activities, events, and shopping, you know, this is really becoming a hot spot for a lot of people who might not be able to afford the inner city Sarasota limits, but are okay with driving 30 to 45 minutes to enjoy some of the amenities that Sarasota or Venice have to provide. A few caveats though that I have heard from clients who were interested in moving to Northport are, for one, they don't like how some of the houses are really well maintained on streets and others just are not. Most of Northport isn't gonna have HOA communities. I think there's only a handful of them. So that means that it's a lot of, you know, unregulated streets, similar to kind of central Sarasota. You know, you'll see a really pretty house and then next to it, maybe a not so pretty house. You'll see a new construction built 2024 home and next to it might be a 1970s home. And what's even weirder is, you know, Northport is still being constructed. So a lot of the area out there, so you'll see like a plot of land that's totally untouched. It's got trees, it's got no house on it. It hasn't even, you know, been farmed at all. And then right next to that will be this, you know, quite large new, almost mansion looking home. The second thing I hear is that a lot of people don't know about septic and sewer, and that's a lot of what Northport is. There isn't really much city water in Northport. There isn't really much city sewer in Northport. It's septic and well water. And a lot of people get scared by that just because they don't know. But another worry is that, you know, in the future, Port City might force all of the homeowners to go on to city and sewer water, which then, you know, might cause them to have to pay the difference of what it would cost to transfer that over, if it's even possible. On the bright side, as of right now, though, that doesn't seem to be an issue or even a thought in the city's mind. And on the point of well water, a lot of these homes, you know, built new or even bought for resale, already come with, you know, reverse osmosis systems or water treatment systems that make the water drinkable. And the final point that I hear a lot about is that Northport is kind of just too quiet. Now, this is something that I heard a lot more before Welland Park is being built out, but, you know, people would say that there wasn't enough shopping or dining or things to do. And that's really how I know Northport. Northport is just kind of a commuter city. People who can't afford to live in Sarasota, you know, move to Northport, live there, and then work in Sarasota. So during the day, there's really no jobs there other than the occasional Publix or, you know, a little local restaurant. But other than that, most people are driving from Sarasota to work and then driving to Northport to live. So it's really quiet. But now that Welland Park and that whole area is kind of expanding, there's more and more things to do. There's more shopping off of 41, there's more dining, there's more activities. Welland Park is, you know, really close to Northport now. And there are becoming more and more things to do. Obviously, you're not going to be the second fastest growing city in the US if you're not expanding and you're not kind of creating more amenities for the people who live in there. So as Northport begins to develop more and more and expand, I'm hearing that complaint that Northport is quiet and there's not enough to do, less and less. And because of this, you know, I think that this could potentially be a really great area to invest your money in. You know, if you're someone who's looking to move to Florida, to the Sarasota area, but you can't afford this, you know, over $500,000 budget, and you're thinking, you know, is there even hope for you to get a new construction home under $400,000? Well, there is, you know, in Northport. And this area, I think that you can really feel secure in your purchase. And I don't think that you would lose a ton of money, if any money at all, in Northport, just because, you know, how fast it's growing out there, how desirable it is now becoming to live out there. You know, more and more things are coming. There's more and more people are moving to Sarasota every day, and there really isn't a lot more room in Sarasota itself. So what do? You move to Northport. I think people who buy in there now are going to see that their home prices are definitely going to jump in the future. With that being said, if you're interested in getting into an actual affordable neighborhood or area here in Sarasota, shoot me a call, give me a text or an email any time of day. My number should be popping up on the screen right now. Or better yet, schedule a call with me in the link in the description below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.